Right now at 6, volunteers are coming together to help clean up Carthage. We're going to take you there. Plus, Cox Monette puts on a community wellness fair to help keep people ahead of potential health issues. Also, we're heading to Lamar as the community takes a trip back in time for the Wyatt Earp Fest. And candlelight vigils are being held ahead of Gabby Petito's funeral tomorrow on Long Island as police continue to look for her fiancé, Brian Laundrie.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Carthage organization is working to beautify the city, and they're doing this one house at a time. Vision Carthage spent Saturday morning teaming up with area groups to improve homes in areas that are entrance points to the city. The group used to do this twice a year, but due to COVID, they're only doing it in the fall. But now that they're back, they're helping disabled and elderly people who may need an extra hand.
And so we just want to come alongside and just let them know that we're here to help. Most of them haven't had, any sort of minor landscaping, so the landscaping really beautifies in ways that just make it a lot prettier.
Now, Vision Carthage says they're always looking for volunteers, and if you're interested, you can go to their Facebook page, Vision Carthage, for more information. Cox Hospital of Monette held a community wellness event trying to get folks out to check up on themselves. Now, for the past 9 years, the hospital has been holding these wellness events for the community, although COVID has changed how they look recently. Officials say they had more than 50 people lined up at the door before the clinic opened for the event at 7 this morning. The clinic offered blood screenings as well as COVID-19 vaccines with the goal of getting people to getting a checkup that they may have otherwise been putting off.
So we just needed people to understand that even though COVID is going on and things might seem overwhelming because of that all the other things in life are still going on also. And so we want them to know their numbers, be proactive in their health care, and to get out there and do their preventative treatments.
Hobson adds they've managed to catch a number of illnesses and warn patients of potential health dangers through these screenings. The Wyatt Earp Fest returned to Lamar. The event is put on by the Barton County Chamber of Commerce and celebrates the famous lawman who got his start in Lamar. People celebrated with live music, a beer garden, and food vendors. The event intends to share the story of Wyatt Earp around the country.
This is a great event that we do. It's a free community event that people can come on down and just really enjoy the great quality of life that we have in Barton County and Lamar, and also where we get to celebrate Wyatt Earp as our legendary lawman and his beginnings here in the start in Lamar.
This year's Wyatt Earp Fall Fest took place on the grounds of the future Wyatt Earp Park. The park will be an amphitheater for music events and will include statues and murals of Earp himself. Beautiful day for some outdoor events. Nick Kelly joining us.
Yeah, it was a bit warm out there, Chris, but thankfully not too warm. Temperatures right around 79 or 80 so far today, and we're still looking really good from 7th and Rangeline. That is a nice, mostly sunny sky from the east side of the city. Not a drop of rain or not a lot of cloud cover for that matter on top of the region now, thanks to high pressure sitting actually over south central parts of Missouri. But as this starts to scoot out toward the east as we head into tomorrow, it's going to lead to quite a warmer day as we wrap up the first week in the fall tomorrow. But for this evening, we're in the mid to upper 70s right now and looking good for the rest of the evening. Mostly clear skies, not turning completely clear by the midnight hour. But look at how fast temperatures will drop. 62 by 10, 60 by midnight. Overnight, we're going to see lows back in the upper 50s, but we'll see highs back in the upper 80s for tomorrow, Chris. We'll break that down on the rest of the week ahead of us here in just a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. Well, vigils are taking place ahead of Gabby Petito's funeral tomorrow on Long Island, and authorities are still searching for her fiancé, Brian Laundrie, after the FBI issued an arrest warrant for him. Michael George reports from New York.
As the manhunt for Gabby Petito's fiancé ramps up, mourners are preparing to pay their respects at her funeral on Sunday. Petito's body was found nearly a week ago in a Wyoming national park. The coroner ruled her death a homicide, but authorities haven't said how she died. Gabby went missing while on a cross-country road trip with Brian Laundrie.
Hi, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
She appeared to be in distress during a Utah traffic stop last month that followed this 911 call.
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
CBS's 48 Hours spoke to Petito's close friend.
For the most part, like any other relationship, honestly. Ups and downs, and I could see some of the toxic traits.
Laundrie returned home alone in their van after Gabby's family reported her missing. He refused to talk to authorities and then disappeared. Police are searching a massive wildlife preserve near his Florida home.
Terrain's very difficult. Essentially 75% of it's underwater.
This woman says she drove some 50 miles to post flyers with Petito's photo.
I feel for both parties. I feel for them, and I feel for the lost girl's parents.
On Thursday, federal prosecutors charged Laundrie with debit card fraud, allegedly committed after Petito's disappearance. Authorities say he could be anywhere, even out of the country. Michael George, CBS News.
Now tonight, CBS's 48 Hours will take a closer look at the case and its special What Happened to Gabby Petito. We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Corporal Norman Johnson served in the Army during Korea, his hometown, Noel. And we're proud to recognize Corporal Norman Johnson, tonight's four-state hero. And remember, to learn more about other heroes, or if you'd like to nominate one of your own at any time, just head over to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll still ahead on the KOAM News at 6. 2 U.S. researchers behind the COVID vaccine technology receive a prestigious award. Plus, details on a new poll regarding President Biden's vaccine mandates. 2 U.S. researchers behind the technology used in Moderna and Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccines are the winners of what's known as America's Nobel. Catalin Carrico and Dr. Drew Weissman developed the mRNA technology, what's considered the breakthrough that enabled the rapid production of the 2 vaccines. Now, for their work, they received the 2021 Lasker Clinical Medical Research Award on Friday. Both are researchers at the University of Pennsylvania. Their study into mRNA technology was published in 2005. The science is licensed to Moderna and BioNTech, which partnered with Pfizer to make its vaccine. The pair will split a $250,000 prize. Previous winners of the prestigious medical award include Dr. Anthony Fauci. Well, according to a new poll, most Americans are in favor of President Biden's COVID-19 vaccine requirements for some workers. The results show 60% support requiring all federal employees to be vaccinated. 58% agree that companies with 100 or more employees should require vaccinations or weekly testing. 63% are in favor of a vaccine mandate for healthcare facilities receiving Medicare and Medicaid. The support for the requirements are split down party lines. Between 93 and 94% of Democrats polled favor all of them. Support for each requirement varies between 17 and 33% among Republicans. The Gallup polling included adults between September the 13th and the 19th. A spike in drug overdose deaths, and the CDC endorses COVID-19 booster shots for millions of Americans. Naomi Ruckham takes a look at some of this week's top health stories.
The CDC has green-lighted Pfizer's COVID-19 booster for Americans 65 and older, people with underlying medical conditions, and at-risk or healthcare workers. A CDC advisory panel had rejected the at-risk group, but CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky went against the recommendation. She says allowing the at-risk group to get boosters aligns with the FDA recommendations. Researchers have pinpointed which groups are most at risk from severe COVID-19, even after being vaccinated. Those included patients receiving chemotherapy or organ transplants and those with HIV infections or neurological disorders. The study in the British Medical Journal found overall only a small minority of vaccinated adults were at risk of hospitalization and death. And a new study shows overdose deaths involving methamphetamines nearly tripled in the U.S. between 2015 and 2019. The research covered people ages 18 to 64. In 2020, more than 93,000 Americans died from drug overdoses. The study finds mixing meth with other drugs and increasing its use may be contributing to the increased overdoses. Those are some of this week's top health stories. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
A little later on the KOAM News at 6, scientists have created something very small that can fly.
Before we get to that, though, we'll break down our forecast, which includes quite a warm-up as we wrap up the weekend. The numbers and the whole forecast next. We have certainly enjoyed a good taste of fall ever since those nice temperatures rolled in back, let's say Tuesday or Wednesday. We can certainly see that for sure. On the monthly recap, hard to believe, but we're almost near the end of September already, but this is quite a warm, if not above normal, stretch of September this go around, but it was nice to see some blue coming up on the calendar. 74 on the 21st, 73 on the official first day of fall. That certainly felt nice. But we had to turn back in the upper 70s and lower 80s yesterday, so it was kind of a bit warm to start this first weekend of the fall season out, but still temperatures weren't really that bad. Right around 80, still felt pretty good for any outdoor plans yesterday. We dropped back quite a bit, actually, into the lower 50s this morning, but 79 degrees, that is actually where we should be for this time of the year in terms of afternoon highs. And we did it because we had pretty much mostly clear skies all day long, and just to make doubly sure we're not seeing anything on the radar network, this won't get a workout until we start to see some better rain chances sneak back into the forecast, looking like Wednesday at the earliest. In the meantime, though, can't deny how great this shot looks from 7th and Range Line from the east side of Joplin. 77 that Joplin Regional. Same goes for downtown pretty much, with a light northeast breeze at 3 miles per hour. And look at that humidity. That's why we went so chilly during the morning and wasted no time warming up during the afternoon. With the moisture that dry, the sunlight can't be absorbed, so it got to work heating us up rather quickly. So this is still keeping us in the mid to upper 70s all across the area, anywhere from 73 at Stockton to 79 over in Chanute. And these numbers will drop off quite a bit again as we go through the overnight. 68 by 8 o'clock, 60 by midnight. And during the overnight, before we hit sunrise, we are going to see our lows drop back this time around into the upper 50s. Not quite a drop off in temperatures because of the setup that's going to take place. First of all, though, absolutely nothing across the entire 4-state region. Now, here's our surface map. Here was the cold front that came on through yesterday. High pressure kept us nice and quiet today, but as this starts to work over toward the east, that's going to bring a southerly wind back into play. That's going to allow for not a chilly night ahead of us, but quite a warm up to wrap up the weekend tomorrow. Plus, we've got the jet stream upstairs ready to work back in our direction. Plus, I'm also keeping an eye on that upper level low near the Baja Peninsula. That's what will come into play as we go into Wednesday. In the short term, though, not much to show other than the mostly clear look from the future track right at home. And you can see how we drop back into the upper 50s for most, maybe a few mid 50s outside of Pittsburgh and Joplin before we get to sunrise first thing in the morning. So in general, let's say 59 degrees during the morning hours. Then we're going to, with the south wind kicking into gear at 10 to 20, see another good warm up tomorrow. 83 by noon. I see Joplin topping out at 89 degrees for the afternoon, and most of us pretty much in the upper 80s, maybe a few spots near 90s. So definitely quite a warm up, but we will keep dry as we wrap up the weekend tomorrow. Monday, for most of Tuesday, we'll keep dry, but near 90 as long as we're on the warmer side of the jet. But that low near the Baja Peninsula, that's going to bring in our next best shot for scattered rain and storms Wednesday. And with quite a bit of upper level energy wanting to pass on by, this is going to try and keep some rain chances going as we go through Thursday and into next weekend. Before we get to that, though, let's go 89 for Sunday, 68 Monday morning with a high of 91. Near 90 on Tuesday. You could twist my arm and say maybe a stray thunderstorm very late in the day, Chris. But again, I think the better chances for rain will be on Wednesday, and at least scattered storms trying to knock us back into the 80s once we hit the middle of the week.
Still a bit of a roller coaster right now until fall officially sets in. It may officially be here, it just hasn't set in yet.
Yeah, for now at least, I'm seeing more 80s than 90s for highs on the board, so I'm in favor of that.
Hey, I'm down with that too. Nick, thank you so much. Danny Terzer joining us now with sports. Cardinals are aiming for their 15th straight win.
Really fun to watch right now. They're in the middle of a series with the Cubs. We'll have those highlights coming up. Plus, the Missouri Southern Lions look to secure their first home win of the season on homecoming day. After a 2-0 start to the season, the Missouri Southern Lions picked up their first win on the road against Central Oklahoma last week. Today, they return home for a chance to make it back-to-back wins. Missouri Southern hosts Fort Hays State, aiming to get to 500. Hays strikes first. Chance Fuller finds Manny Ramsey on the 5-yard slant. The Tigers take a 7-point lead quickly. Southern has an answer on the following possession. The hometown kid, Nathan Glades, out of Joplin High School, busts loose down the far sideline, waits for blockers, and scores 62-yard touchdown, ties it up. Glades will find the end zone for a second time this game, but Fort Hays State owns the second quarter. Fuller, perfect throw to Montario Birchfield for the touchdown. And then just before half, Fuller gets another TD pass, this one to Alex Schremer. Tigers go up 35-7 at half. And Fort Hays State tops Missouri Southern 42-21.
Between Dawson and Nathan, they continue to get better and better every snap, every game. And so, yeah, you know, we learn to trust them, and they're doing a great job, and we just got to continue to provide support and some help to kind of free those two up.
Pittsburgh State also at home this evening for Family Day. The Gorillas are coming off a 48-13 win over Northeastern State. Last week's win put them at 2-1 on the early season. The Gorillas are searching for their first home win tonight against Emporia State. The Hornets are also 2-1 and are averaging 35 points per game.
It starts with their quarterback on offense. I think he's a really good football player. He creates plays and buys himself some time. They have good backs and receivers that can catch the football and do something with it after they get it.
We got to come to play every game. It's just imperative that we continue to build that chemistry as a team, and put it together on offense, put it together on defense, put it together on special teams, and, you know, keep working.
Kickoff between the Gorillas and the Hornets is set for 7 p.m. At the Division I level, the Missouri Tigers looking to string together a pair of wins. On the road against Boston College, tied at 34 after 4 quarters. This one headed to overtime. BC scored on their possession, and Connor Bazelak threw his second pick of the day, this one to end the game. The Eagles get the win 41-34, and Mizzou falls to 2-2 on the season. The Red Hot Cardinals tied the club's all-time record for consecutive wins on Friday. The streak has grown to 14 in a row. St. Louis aims to add another today against the Cubs. No score in the second. Harrison Bader solo shot. That puts the Cards up 1-0. Later in the fourth, trailing now, Tyler O'Neill gets all of this one, evens the score back up, but the Cards will fall behind again until a big 7th inning, down by 1 here. Lars Nootbaar singles to left, and Yadier Molina scores. They score 3 in the inning to take the lead, adding some insurance in the 9th. Paul DeYoung crushes a 2-run homer, and it's another W for the Cardinals, 8-5 the final. We're back right after this.
Coming up tonight at 10, we're going to take you to the big convoy rolling through Joplin for the Special Olympics. Plus, we're headed to Carthage as volunteers work to clean up the community. Over then, we're going to take you to Cox Monette Hospital as they work to keep the community healthy and ahead of potential diseases. We got those stories and a lot more coming your way tonight at 10. Well, move over, Ant-Man. Scientists have created the smallest ever human-made structure that can fly. Northwestern University engineers say this is a winged microchip named Microflyer. The chip is about the size of a grain of sand and is built to use wind to fly. The scientists studied nature to come up with the design, and so it spins like a helicopter through the air. It's also biodegradable. They say the Microflyer can be packed with miniaturized technology, including sensors, memory data, and antennas for wireless communication. The engineers believe their device could be used one day to monitor air pollution, airborne disease, and environmental contamination. I still haven't flown, and I'm going to tell you right now. First, there's 2 things I got to go over. One, at the beginning of the show, you may have seen me staring blankly. It's what happens when sports doesn't go as planned on the other side. 2, sound a little crazy. I was at the Joplin football game. It's my home team, and I cheered a little too loud. So
they got you the win.
They did, and so they earned the cheering. But I'm noticing I'm a little hoarser than usual.
Oh, I haven't been that hoarse in a long time. Like the last time you heard me hoarse on the air was goodness, years ago when I visited one of my best friends in Florida, like all the screaming at Disney and Universal. Those roller coaster rides can do a number on your throat.
That they can. Temperatures doing a number for the forecast.
Yeah, we enjoyed highs near 79, 80 today. Got to turn a little warmer tomorrow for sure. Sunny skies though, so it'll look nice to wrap up the weekend tomorrow. Highs are 89, near 90 Monday and Tuesday. But once we get better rain chances in here, I think by Wednesday, that should be enough to keep highs in the lower to middle 80s for the rest of next week.
Danny, pretty exciting that the Cardinals made it 15 straight. So now, correct me if I'm wrong, but does that now break their standing record?
Well, they're tied right now with franchise history for the longest streak. The 15 tied that. Or no, excuse me, that's wrong. The 14 tied that, so now I guess they broke it.
They broke that record.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting because I know, we were talking about this earlier in the year. They had kind of a rough start there, and I was just wondering, I was like, what's going on
I know, it's
here?
just like, if you asked me, like a Cards fan here, if you were going to say this at this point in the season, I would have thought you were nuts.
Yeah, so they're doing pretty good. What else can we look forward to?
Well, we got Pittsburgh State at home tonight taking on ESU, so we'll have those highlights at 10.
And hopefully the Cards win against the Cubs tonight. Hopefully I'll hear that tonight at 10.
Yeah, that'd be great. Guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock. Until then, thanks for making us part of your night.